Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Misha Bajwa Chaudhary, and I welcome you all to the Aspiration Summit 2022, a News18 experience, co-presented by Swiss Military and co-powered by Science Industries Limited. The goal of Aspiration have undergone change. The perception of luxury has evolved. How? Well, the experts shall tell. Today we'll be meeting, commending and applauding some of the finest personalities of India from varying backgrounds who will help us understand how approachability, democratization and accessibility are the words that describe the new world order. Before we begin the show with our first session, it's time to have all eyes on the screen.
Exploring aspirations with those who have chased dreams, finding trends with those who are at the leading edge, analyzing ambition with those who understand it, seeking satisfaction with those who have found it, discovering history with those reliving it, understanding modernity with those who understand it, interpreting luxury with those who live it, redefining definitions with low aspiration, a News18 experience.
And to kickstart our first session of the evening, Life My Way, may I please request Arshdeep Sandhu to join me on stage to moderate this session. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join us with a huge round of applause as we welcome our esteemed guest, Kunwar Zoravar Sher Singh Kalsia. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. But before I hand over the stage to Arshdeep, can we have the ABs, please?
He is a direct descendant of Sardar Gurbaksh Singh, founder of the Kalsia State in 1753. His royal roots notwithstanding, he believes in self-sustainability and lives on his farm in Gurugram, where he has started aquaculture, beekeeping and organic farming. Kunwar Zoravar Sher Singh Kalsia has also been a tea planter for McLeod Russell India Ltd, a Fortune 500 company. He likes to call himself a dude with a motorcycle and a sense of adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, Kunwar Zoravar Sher Singh Kalsia.
All right, over to you, Arshdeep. Arshdeep.
Thank you, Misha. So royalty is something we associate with luxury, with expensive lifestyle, with elegance. You, on the other hand, you live on a farm, you do the work with your own hands, you're into beekeeping, you're into aquaculture, you're into organic farming, everything you do with your own hands. So how has the definition changed for you?
See, for me, luxury has always been the freedom to do what I want, and my only ambition in life was to live the most interesting life that I could fathom. And for that and for me, it meant that the freedom to, live a self-sustaining life. And why I work with my hands is, I feel it's very important for every man to do that, because it's a very humbling experience. You actually understand what goes into the smaller things in life, and you appreciate it far more. And that's why I chose this, is because on the same hand, I get to have the time on my hands to, explore any hobby or interest that I have. And that led to a lot of things. It led to a passion for motorcycles. It led to a passion for metal fabrication, for woodworking. So it keeps me on my toes, and I enjoy it. It's a quiet life.
But usually we associate royalty, even nowadays, we associate them with some sort of a business. Your family also has a business, but you, on the other hand, chose this life. Why?
No, I do actually have my own businesses as well. But this, see, for me, from when I was very young itself, I was never interested in the fast-paced city life. And we live in a world today where as long as you have a cell phone and a laptop, you can pretty much conduct your business from anywhere. And that's how I got into an entrepreneurship. And the farm lifestyle was my passion. And I chose that to be, see, it should not just be any passion should not be something that just drains out of your pocket for me. My idea was anything that I pursue should also be like a side hustle. You know, it should be paying me. It should not just be going out of my pocket. And I didn't want to live off my parents, and I didn't want to burden them. So I started small. I started with the fishery, and then I slowly expanded. And then I started to get into real estate and then exports. So those things move on their own. I just need internet connection, and I enjoy my time on my farm. I love spending time with my animals, my horse, my goats, all of them.
But it is very different from how we perceive royalty in that sense.
See, we must also understand that a long time ago, before we were royals or anything, we all also started from somewhere. And my ancestors that initially started everything, they did not have everything on a silver platter. They had to build it as well. Now, just because I come from a family where I have a lot of, I would say, luxuries as compared to a lot of people, that doesn't mean that, I should just sit back. My father instilled a very important thing in my head when I was a kid itself. He's like, no matter what you have, you must always have ambition to do something. You must always be working with your hands especially, because there's no sadder existence for a man without purpose. And just because I have those things doesn't mean I can just sit back and relax.
No.
And I enjoy this life.
Yeah.
I look forward to waking up every morning. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Some people say that's crazy, but it's peaceful to me. I wake up to the sound of birds. I would argue that is luxury.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask, that is it luxury in itself, what you do? Because it's not sustainable for the masses.
See, it all comes down to your personal choices in life. What do you prioritize? For some people, definitely that could be a very high-paying job. It could be, going to the fancy galas and all that. For me, it wasn't that. For me, it was, I enjoy my animals. I love spending time with my horse. Every morning, I take him out for a ride. I go through the villages, and all the villages, they get really chopped up. They'll be wishing me salam and all that stuff. And I enjoy that. I enjoy spending time with them. I enjoy looking after my animals. And, having that bond. I rescue a lot of animals. Most of my dogs are rescues. So these are things that, to me, is my definition of luxury.
Yeah.
It gives me happiness. And as long as I'm happy, my stomach is full, I've got a deep roof over my head, I've got, a few vices. I love my good whiskey. If I've got that, I'm happy. And that's my definition of luxury.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to be on anyone's beck and call. I can do things on my own time. And I have the freedom to pursue what it is that I want. So I would argue that this is my idea of luxury.
Yeah. So after independence, this idea sort of changed. After independence, royalty in that sense is not there, but still you have those titles. People who come to know about you, they actually want to associate with you. As you just said that you don't enjoy it in that sense, but people still want to meet you, associate with you. Why do you think that fascination is still there?
I think it's something, it's like how we get fascinated by the celebrities. So this is like a relic of a bygone era. And yes, I appreciate the fact that, it does give me a lot of, I would say, afford me a lot of leeway and luxury. And, people try to associate. But I try to avoid that. I prefer to go under the radar. That's why I would describe myself as a dude with a motorcycle. I literally don't even go around in a car. My dad says, "Are you crazy? Why do you go around in a motorcycle?" I'm like, it's something I enjoy, and I just like living life under the radar. So,
Alright.
but I don't like associating with people that, unless they know I'm a royal, then only they start talking to me. I'm not too fond of that. I would rather be associated with people that would want to be associated with me as my character and who I am as a man, not by something that I was just fortunate to be born in a particular
but
family.
still there's a heritage. You come from a family of Raja Ravi Sher Singh,
Yes.
who is also called an epitome of modernization. He
Yes.
brought modernization to the state, electricity, tap water in 1930s. So from there on, from Raja Ravi Sher Singh to now, what has changed? What is the change that you have seen in the family or around you?
Well, not to state the obvious, we don't rule anymore. But what I've found is we all have come to the understanding that, yes, we have that heritage and it is something we must be proud of. But at least in my head is like, I respect it, I understand it, but life must move on. And yes, there are benefits to it, but I prefer to, stand on my own 2 feet. And that's the life that I want to go towards.
So Raja Ravi Sher Singh brought tap water, electricity, technology to the state. But now, what is the meaning of modernity in your sense, in your views?
See, you're talking to a person who really tries to live life in a very primal manner. Like, I don't even eat the non-veg that I eat has to be either raised by me or caught by me. I'm not a very modern person, but yes, there are ways where you can't deny it. Like as I said, my business, I need a laptop, I need an internet connection. And modernity, to me, it's a very peculiar thing, because you must understand that yes, it makes life very simple, but at the risk of sounding harsh, it also makes people very redundant. It kind of makes you lazy. So there has to be a balance between the two. And because I won't say, being primal is all good, because there's certain things, like definitely life, who wouldn't want life to be easy? But I try to have that balance between the two. And I think that's very important.
Yeah.
You must understand that there's a balance, and you must try to, be in touch with your heritage, be in touch with your physical self, as well as be present in the modern world.
But you are living in a world where people tend to use social media so much. You're not very active on social media, although you're young. So people are social media influencers in that sense. So they are royalty in themselves, in a sense, that people follow them, people follow their style. How do you see this?
See, to each his own. I mean, the people who are doing that, hats off to you. I mean, if you've got followers that look up to you, that's nothing like it. You have a platform where you can, voice whatever you want. To me, yes, I do use social media from time to time. I like sharing whatever it is that I do. But I don't let it be the sole, part of my day, because there was a time when I was much younger where I was very into it. And I used to realize that I wasn't really doing much with my life besides for just aimless scrolling. So I try to restrict it as much as possible.
Yeah.
It's like, unless there's something really worth sharing, I'll share. And if it's not, I don't really look at my phone for the social media. I'll, carry on with whatever it is that I'm doing. And that afforded me so much time in my day. I found I took up different hobbies. I took up tattooing, I took up metal fabrication, woodworking. I had never, like in the video you showed, milking a cow. I had never done it before in my life.
Yeah.
I actually use social media to learn. I learned off YouTube, believe it or not. A lot of things that I've picked up, a lot of hobbies were picked up off YouTube. So it's for me, it's a tool that you must understand that it is a tool. It's not something that should dictate your life. And those who are making a career out of it, well, that's their prerogative, and hats off to them. I mean, to each his own. It's just not the way I personally would like to live my life.
What do you think the future of luxury is, or in that sense, royalty is? Because people used to look up to royalty. Even now, people do look up to the royals for styles and so for other things. But is the royalty still relevant today?
Well, yes. In terms of culture, sure. I mean, I see it definitely when you go back to your place. There is definitely there's a lot of significance to it. And one thing I would definitely say is you can never forget your history, because history, and being in touch with your roots, it's something we must never forget. Now, that doesn't mean that I should have my nose up in the air saying, oh, I'm Ravi Sher Singh's great-grandson. I personally, I prefer is like, yes, there's that heritage is there, I respect it, I understand it, and it has perks with it, but it's basically my thinking is, like I was having this conversation with a friend a bit earlier. It's like nobody remembers you for your title, nobody remembers you for the money you make in this world or anything of that sort. When you're long gone, when you're dead and gone, people would rather remember you for the deeds that you did. Like even you mentioned Ravi Sher Singh, you're not just talking about him just being the king, you're talking about him how he helped the people in his state, right? So for me, it is like my idea of luxury and wealth is long, God willing, long after a couple of decades, hopefully, that when I'm done and dusted in ashes, I should hope that people remember me for, that he made us feel good. He was a humble man, he worked hard, and, he did the best he could, and he led an interesting life. Yeah. That's my idea of luxury.
Right. That was a lovely conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. I had many questions, but we don't have the time for it. Thank you so much. Over to you, Misha.
Arshdeep, and how I wish I could hear more from you. However, I would like to request you to stay put on the stage for a few more minutes while I invite on stage Mr. Jyoti Kamal, Managing Editor, News18, to please come up on stage and extend our token of appreciation to our esteemed guest. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Kunwar, Zoravar Singh Kalsia. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jyoti Kamal. Thank you.